This is General Lift. This is a company that is run by Joe Lewis out of Los Angeles. He bought a lot of this technology, motion control and Cooper controls, from a guy named Bill Tondreau, that won a bunch of Academy Awards for his development of this motion control stuff that you can see is used on The Matrix and other films. But I basically called him, and he let me use this stuff for free, and it was very gracious of him.
Or you might be less. I mean, I'm thinking more stuff than you, because I'm going to send you cable.
This is just me on the phone with him.
And other stuff, so it's like, I'm trying to make as much plug as possible.
So this is the head he sent me, and it's a head with two motors on it. This is me drilling out the ladder in preparation for the track. This stuff right here is called synchro mesh cable, and I didn't want to use a chain because it would be very heavy, but this stuff is great, and I wish I could remember. I think it's in my ACM paper where I found it, but there's basically this grooved gear, and then you have this steel cable that's wrapped with nylon at a certain pitch, and it's very strong and it's very lightweight for doing geared work, and it's all hooked up to a stepper motor. You can see how it pulls it backwards and forwards. This is kind of funny. The camera was slipping around a little bit on the mount, so I think Bob Schubert had suggested that I put some rubber in between it, and this is the rubber I found is basically a toilet seal.
Toilet seal.
That I cut up and glued onto this mount to prevent it from slipping around.
Guards on the mount here. For the tighten it doesn't move.
This is the first kind of test of the Cooper system. This was a really exciting day for me to see this whole thing coming together and moving, and I knew it was going to work. This is a real big help from Joe Lewis. This is my first Magical Chairs motion control test where I make these chairs disappear. This is all optical, there's no CG or anything. This video talks about the building of the set. This is a little place called Newport, Virginia, which is about 8 miles from Virginia Tech. It's where I rented space in this old elementary school to work on this project. This is a space before we built it out. This is Reed, and his girlfriend Alex will be in here in a second, but they helped me put all this together. I had to remind Reed a few times that this ladder was basically a very high precision component, to please not bang it against everything. That's Alex, another graphic design student. This is a time lapse of us kind of assembling this whole thing. This little piece talks about where I got the lights. These lights, I think I talked about it in the video. I don't know if you can hear that, but these lights basically came from old lot sales from Disney and ABC and CBS. They're Mole Richardson lighting instruments. There's a 4K zip, a 2K zip, a 1K, and a 2K Fresnel. And these comprise the majority of the lighting we used. I needed to build a large diffuser for the Fresnel. for my key light, so I bought PVC and ripstop nylon.
That's what she said. Huh?
This is Jenny Uchida, a friend of mine that helped me put all this stuff together. This is us trying to build a scrim.
Is this an Asian?
This is as the whole thing's starting to come together. You can see that 2K Fresnel is being bounced through that diffuser to create a nice soft light. These are a bunch of sheets I bought at Walmart to create our backdrop. I also put if you look over on the right, I put sheets in other parts of the room to kind of minimize the bounce. This video talks about the final preparation before we started filming passes.
This is a good little camera.
That's the box that the Cooper controller and drivers came in. It's extremely heavy. This is the Cooper computer that Joe sent. Runs on DOS. Very high tech. This is me doing one of the stepper motors to work with Joe's system, which I had to read a lot of PDFs on how you wire these things because they all have different wire outs. This is a test of the camera head. This is Jessica Harley, who's helped out with this project immensely. This was a storyboard session that we kind of came up with to figure out what was actually going to be filmed.
I don't understand this part here. I don't understand this part here. Throw off like all of this smoothness here.
Yeah. And then I drop to the ground. I could also do a quick tilt.
There's a little test footage. This talks about the exercise equipment used in the videos.
From my mom. She bought it in 1984 when we were born, me and my brother, to run off the pound.
This is his bike that I found at a pawn shop, and we're kind of retrofitting it so I can ride it as a stationary bike. We had a hell of a time getting this chain off.
Burrows with urinals in background.
It's just bending, it's not breaking.
Oh, the other reason we're sitting in the bathroom is because the only place that is heated in this building was in the men's restroom, so we put a lot of stuff together next to these urinals. This is the finished bike.
Dada looking bike.
This is us printing out these big registration cards, which we use to align the camera every time. These optical registration cards that are on the opposite wall of the camera. These are just made in Illustrator.
Ready to go for the top and bottom levels. So. These rails here pointed at these markers that kind of have converging points, and then using overlay software on a computer.
This is that software that I was talking about earlier, made by Red Lightning, that allows you to see the feed live, record, and overlay images.
It gives you a real-time feed. You can overlay this with a home image that you captured at the beginning of the project.
You can do a lot of vacuuming to get all I can do out. Jessica and I working on tidying up these wires. It's cutting the lights on for the first time.